Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, you are the air beneath my wings. We go gliding over the Trent Valley. Helen Barley will join me to review the region's press from the past week, and I'll be talking to the increasingly athletic Dave Nunn about his marathon training. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Riches. First of all, it's over to James Dunn for the news headlines.
Admissions to A&E departments could rise more than 10% over the upcoming Easter weekend. Stats show an increase compared to the weekends before and after the bank holiday weekend as doctors' surgeries closed and more people take to bars and clubs in the evening. It's led the Clinical Commissioning Group for Yorkshire and the Humber to issue advice on alternatives to A&E to help the departments cope with the increased demand.
I mean, we try and encourage people to consider alternative options and turning up in accident and emergency, so we can make sure that that's there when you really need it. I mean, a good example I think that people often overlook is the use of pharmacy. We've got trained professionals there who are able to deal with most of the minor illnesses. You can go there, present with the problems that you've got, ask to see the pharmacist, and they can actually usually sort out your problem. The key to accident and emergency is that's what the service is there for. It is an accident and emergency service, and it's critically important that when you really need it, that the services are available to be able to meet your needs. So if it isn't an accident or emergency, please think about alternatives.
Also expected to rise over the bank holiday period are incidents of serious sexual offences as people make bad decisions fuelled by alcohol, according to police. The police say research shows incidents are always higher when more people are out in bars and clubs and are warning people to drink sensibly so they don't become another crime statistic. Detective Chief Inspector Paul Welton says that 18 to 30s are the most prevalent age group in both victims and offenders, and that the vast majority of rape cases involve people who have met on a night out. Tributes have been paid to a former businessman and keen cyclist who died in a bike accident in Spain. Bob Kerr was a former chairman of Lindsay Road Cycling Club and was retired after setting up a successful insulation business based in Humberston. In a statement on their website, Lindsay Road Cycling Club said Bob's cheery smile and positive outlook will be missed by them all. The uniform, the clipboard, the pocket watch and now the iPod. That's the newest addition to the nurses' kit as staff in Hull's Royal Infirmary and Castle Hill hospitals thanks to a £950,000 grant from National Nurse Technology Fund last year. It will help nurses record key clinical information on patients to increase efficiency and improve the sharing of information. That's all from me. Bye for now.
Gliding is a sport that takes years to master and requires a lot of time and investment. Clubs like the Trent Valley Gliding Club, based in Curtin and Lindsay, exist all over the country for pilots to take their own gliders into the wild blue yonder. But the Trent Valley Club is somewhat different, as Dave Nunn went to find out.
For many people, it's a hobby that costs a lot of time and money. But at the Trent Valley Gliding Club, based on the former airfield of the RAF Curtin Lindsay site in Lincolnshire, it comes with a difference.
Okay, Trent Valley Gliding Club was formed in the 1960s and moved here to RAF Curtin Lindsay, as it was then, in 1974. Prior to that, it had been on another ex-RAF airfield at Sturgate. And the club has been here since 1974 and is prospering. Membership varies from time to time. At the moment, we're doing particularly well. We've got approaching 100 members. And it's a good mix of ages, from young teenagers right up to quite a few retirees who find gliding later in life.
Gliders are delicate and complex pieces of equipment that require many hours of maintenance and patience to master, which makes it all the more remarkable that the members are all volunteers.
It's all volunteer. There are no paid employees at the club. Everything is done. We're run by a 12-strong committee. Committee changes or people have the opportunity to join the committee annually at the AGM, and all of the work that's done here, from pushing and shoving and repairing equipment to flying and training people to fly, is all volunteer.
And those volunteers need to be prepared to put in lots of hard work.
You get great reward, but it is time intensive, labour intensive, because we're a self-help club. You really need to come for the day. If you're going to glide and you want to have 2 or 3 hours in the air, or even 2 or 3 minutes, you need to spend quite a lot of time at the club. We have the gliders out of the hangar in the morning and put them away in the evening, so there's an awful lot to do if people are going to fly.
But what keeps them coming back? For Jeff and many others, it's the simple thrill that gliding offers that keeps them coming.
Well, I think it's an evolution. You come to the club to learn to glide or to enjoy gliding, and those that get hooked stay for a fair number of years, and they get a great amount of pleasure from teaching other people to fly. And of course, at the same time, they enjoy their own flying. A lot of us go on to acquire our own private gliders, and we enjoy flying for personal satisfaction as well as helping other people to fly.
The club's membership is stable, and they've recently added a moto glider to their collection, which shows that people are willing to put in time and effort to do something they love.
And Dave is back on the ground now. He's fairly young, averagely healthy, too seldom shaved, and has the virtuous lifestyle habits typical of a journalist. For the last month or so, he's been in training to run the Hull Marathon, this transforming himself into the lithe, swift, agile vision of human perfection you see before you. The very personification of a young Apollo. Dave.
You got the description right on there, didn't you?
How are you feeling?
Apart from having a bit of a cold, I'm all right, yeah.
Okay, well, before we start talking more about the marathon, that glider story looked absolutely fascinating. Have you ever been up in one of those contraptions?
I have been up in a glider, yeah. When I was in the Air Cadets, I went up in one of the... there was a grub tutor in that film, actually, and I went up in one of those for a couple of hours.
And enjoyable? Terrifying?
Considering I have a fear of heights, it probably wasn't the best thing to do, but...
If you have a fear of heights, what were you doing in the Air Cadets?
God knows.
Okay.
I was in it for the shooting.
Well, talking of same answer, maybe coming to the next question, this marathon, is it going to be an enjoyable experience?
No, I probably underestimated how hard it's going to be after going for a first proper run with James the other week.
Yeah, this is our own James Dunn.
Yeah.
He's been taking you out for a bit of training, a bit of practice. I think we've got some pictures.
Over the next couple of weeks, I've got up quite a few miles. I'll probably notice it's becoming a bit easier.
So what's your distance now? What do you run every week now?
4 miles.
Okay, so you only have the other 22 to find?
Yeah, by September.
By September, okay. Are you going fast? What sort of times are you doing 4 miles in?
I'm doing it in around about 50-55 minutes, which isn't the fastest time in the world, but...
So you run at a little bit more than 4 miles an hour?
Just about.
Okay. Is that what most people run at? That seems, Dave, I've great respect for you, but that seems very, very slow to me.
It is a bit slow, but I'm only a beginner, so... I mean, I don't know how long will it take me to complete the marathon. It'd take me probably about 6 hours at that speed.
All right.
So I won't be in for a winning time, let's put it that way.
Apart from your cold, are you feeling a bit healthier? Is this doing you good?
A little bit, yeah. I do feel a bit more energetic. And obviously, as I am going up the distance, it doesn't hurt as much to run now. But obviously, I've still got quite a lot of distance to go. So.
Are you a little bit smaller than you were?
A little bit, yeah. I have actually lost a bit of weight. I can't remember exactly how much, but I am losing weight at the same time as well. So it's a win-win. Okay.
And you have presumably a healthy regime apart from just the training and the practice and the running. You've healthy diet. Have you cut out the bacon sandwiches?
They've stayed cut out. I haven't exactly been eating the healthiest though. I will admit that myself. I have had some fruit lately, so I've been eating a bit of fruit, but I do need to be a bit more healthy.
I'm beginning to wonder how committed you are to this project, Dave.
I am. I'm committed. I'm going to do it. Just to prove everyone wrong, really.
All right. Well, no, we will have great faith in you. Why have you picked any charities?
I haven't actually picked a charity yet, so I'm still open to suggestions of charities to go for.
Okay. Any good ideas come in? Anything that seems tempting?
As of yet, no, but there's still quite a long time to go. So, if people do have suggestions, they can send them in.
Okay, and that's when you'll start raising sponsorship and things like that.
Yeah, all the usual stuff.
Just remind me, when is the race?
It's late. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head. You caught me off guard a bit there, but it is late September.
Late September. It's in Hull, and the course will involve crossing the Humber itself, won't it?
It's you go race. Sort of down. I think it's down Hessel Road. I can't remember. Yeah, it's down Hessel Road, and you go around, across the bridge, and then you come back on yourself, go the other way. So yeah, it's quite a long one.
Okay, and by that time, you will be a honed, trained, dedicated athlete.
Yep.
What are you going to do afterwards?
It's the thing. What is the next challenge? Run 100 miles? probably not going to do that.
Well, I know that a few weeks ago when you were talking about this, when you first made this rather dazzling announcement that you were going to run the marathon, you were talking to somebody who was doing, who did do 100-mile runs through...
The ultra marathons.
Yes. Is that not... Oh, you've got it, Dave, haven't you?
Well, I don't really fancy doing an ultra marathon that takes literally hours and hours and hours to do. I think a marathon's a good enough thing to aim for, considering that's an extra 74 miles on top of what I'd already be doing.
People get addicted to it, you know. You get the old endomorphins going and you can't stop, and people find themselves running marathons every week sometimes. Yeah,
I'd like to meet these people and for them to tell me why they do that, because I'm not finding that at the moment. We'll give it a couple of months and maybe I will, who knows, but I think 26 miles is the thing to aim for at the moment.
And when's your next practice run?
My next practice run, I'll be going out at some point over the weekend. I don't know.
What do you do? What's the mechanics of this? You always go out with somebody else, or do you have the initiative to go and do it on your own?
Most of the time I go out on my own, but sometimes I do meet up with other people and we go, mainly James. We meet up and we do go for a run once a week, but mainly it's just myself, and I time myself on my phone. So. And it's
a matter of the weather that stops you. You just run, come rain or snow.
If it is blowing a gale and chucking it down, then I won't go. Then I'll do 2 runs night after night.
Dave, thank you very much. Good luck as always with that project. You're watching Estuary TV News. A little later, we'll have a look at another lovely dog of the week, and James will be back to bring you the sports news. Helen Barley joins me now for a too rare appearance, here to take a look at some of the stories in the regional press this week. Helen, welcome back.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Haven't seen you in here for too long.
It's been a while. It's nice to be back.
It has been. What have you found in the local press?
I've been scouting today. There's a few. Now, the first one that caught my eye, I found quite funny because it was released for the Hull Daily Mail on the 1st of April. So I don't know, there is no definite whether this is true or not. April Fool's Day story.
Always a dodgy date for journalists.
Definitely.
They can't resist it, can they?
So a pensioner nearly choked to death on a pickled onion. Says his pet dog saved his life by unwittingly performing the Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah.
So the 67-year-old gent said he was tucking into his dinner, a bit of the skin got caught in his throat, and he staggered towards the door and he was choking, he couldn't breathe properly, and his 18-month-old Labrador jumped on his back, and then the onion popped out of his mouth. It's hard to read without laughing. Popped out of his mouth.
I think that's pretty definitely an April Fool's from yesterday.
I would like to it would be wonderful if it was true.
Well,
wouldn't
it would be. I think I noticed a few other April Fool's stories yesterday. There was the BBC Radio 4 was running the fact that FIFA is going to make the goalposts bigger so that there are more goals.
I like that one.
And there was one that Piers Morgan was going to take Jeremy Clarkson's place on Top Gear.
Oh,
it's not totally impossiple,
no.
I guess. But my favourite one was a nice local one that the Magna Carta had been stolen from Lincoln Cathedral.
Oh, okay.
I wonder what one would do with a stolen Magna Carta. Sort of
hide it under the bed, maybe.
Well, I suppose you would.
Read it nighttime reading, I suppose.
Anyway, great tradition that newspapers always printing April Fool's stories. Goes back to Panorama and the Spaghetti Harvest, doesn't it?
It does, actually, yes.
Okay.
So another one from the Hull Daily Mail that caught my eye. The Larkin toads that appeared across Hull for the anniversary of the poet, Philip Larkin.
Yes.
It was a few years ago now, and they're doing another one. Now, this year, it's the 30th anniversary of Philip Larkin, and they've decided above the skyline of Hull, they'll receive an unusual amphibian edition this August, when a huge inflatable toad takes up residence above several city sites. So it's been organised by the same people who organised the Larkin Toads. And what they're wanting people to do is to sort of tweet and Facebook their ideas in, their designs. And the winning design is going to go on this toad. And it's the size of a bus. So it's 26 feet by 18 feet.
Enormous.
And it's going to be attached by ropes from the ground. And it's going to be floating.
Like a great big balloon sort of thing.
Yes. And it's going to be floating in August. This is going to happen. So they're wanting the general public to send their designs in. So the details are here. It's Roots Wings Hull, at Roots Wings Hull. That's on Twitter. And then on Facebook and Instagram, if you use the hashtag Toads Hull as well. So get drawing and get your designs in. Yeah,
Toad, of course, Philip Larkin was the librarian at Hull University, and in some poem he referred to that toad work.
Yes, that was correct. And that's where the toads... came from.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful. They had 25 lichen toads around when they did it previously, and some of the designs were absolutely wonderful. And I remember we had one in Grimsby. I think one came to visit Grimsby and sat in Grimsby Town Centre, and I remember having my photo taken with it.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yes.
brilliant, and it sounds interesting.
I won't tell you what Larkin said that your mum and your dad do, but they didn't mean to.
No, okay. I'll take a stab at that.
Little bit of good luck for somebody.
Yes, and again, local area. Now, I don't know if you know this, Hugh, but Grimsby gets the nickname Winsby.
Yeah,
It does because of how many lottery wins we've had. I personally haven't had any, neither of my family, so we're not that lucky. But the area itself seems to be surrounded by luck for lottery winners. And again, lucky Lincolnshire has struck again with a couple winning a massive £193,914. So what would you do with that amount of money?
Oh, well, I would.
Life-changing.
I would do anything I like. I
Yes, well, that's the whole point, isn't it?
think. That would be
Houses, boats, yachts.
rather wonderful.
Buy yourself a football team if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't.
Think of all
but
the
I-
whiskey.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Lifetime
Helen,
supply of whiskey.
You know me too well.
Now I'm talking.
Yeah.
So these guys were from near Boston who won this one. And then, of course, there's another couple as well from Scunthorpe. Now, they beat the odds of 283 billion to 1 because they won £1 million in 2013 and they've gone and won £1 million again this time round.
That is remarkable.
So they've won it twice. We've had winners from Cleethorpes, we've had winners from Grimsby, so many from the local areas.
It just
that have
goes to
won.
prove that if the odds are 1 million to 1, then 9 times out of 10 it'll come off.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
very lucky.
Very, very lucky. Ridiculously lucky. I'm not at all jealous.
No, I am
Not at all.
very envious.
No.
I'm not ashamed of my
Yes.
greed.
So Bridlington Free Press, I was having a nosy in there. And there's a wind farm which objectors say will degrade Bridlington's landscape. Now, it's been given the go-ahead anyway after the Ministry of Defence dropped objections to the project. Now, the objections were the Fraysthorpe wind farm had been put on hold over concerns the 9 proposed turbines would interfere with radar defence systems. But they've changed the radar defence systems now, and the council has now said, no, we're good to go, and we're gonna put them up. Now, there's quite a few wind farms, I think, already across the sort of the sweep of Bridlington Bay anyway.
I was in Bridlington yesterday, in fact, and beautiful bright afternoon sunshine, and there are a lot of wind farms
There
around
are. Now, a few people are saying, the committee members are saying that they think it'll be a bit of an eyesore and it's not going to fit in well. But I don't think it matters where in the country. You are always going to get people that aren't going to be happy with that.
Well, I don't think they are an eyesore, really.
I quite like them.
Yeah. I think for 800 years ago there were people wandering around saying church spires, cathedrals,
Yeah.
bloody modern architects.
And now look.
Yeah.
And now look how beautiful they are. And you think of the power that they generate.
Yes.
And what they're doing for the future and for the economy.
There is the issue of noise.
Swings and roundabouts. There is.
The issue of noise.
There
A lot
is.
of people object to that.
Yeah,
They do
there
make
is.
noise.
But they're saying that this is going to be a huge help to have these ones there. So it's good that it's going ahead in the end.
Talking of other things travelling through the air.
Yes. A high-octane aerial race between motorised drones
Right.
is set to take place in Grimsby this summer. Now, this is the new thing in a similar vein to the Red Bull Air Race.
Yes.
So the Red Bull Air
So
Race
it's
with
bits
planes.
remote
controlled.
drones.
Yeah, and it's got 4 blades and they're going to be racing
the
them.
4 propeller things.
Yeah.
And
they'll
that's
have
in
to go.
Grimsby, sometime
That's
this summer.
August.
In,
Yeah.
in August.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I want to go and play with one
Yes,
of those.
we should.
Helen, absolutely lovely. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
and see you again soon.
Yes.
Now it's over to James Dunn again for the sports news.
It's the famous Hull Derby tonight at the KC Stadium. Hull FC will be looking to make the most of their momentum to get revenge for their 28-0 defeat to the Black and Whites last season. Tonight's game kicks off at 8 p.m.
There's a small rugby league game going on, obviously within the city at the KC Stadium, and Hull FC are going to host Hull Kingston Rovers, and hopefully going to take 2 points away from them.
We're going in confident. We're off the back of a good performance at the weekend against St Helens. Still, lots to improve on, but yeah, we know we can, we know we can score points. I thought defensively at the weekend we were a lot better.
New loan signing Theo Robinson is in doubt for Scunthorpe's crucial next two matches against Peterborough and MK Dons. The lone player scored after a minute on his debut against Notts County, but he and his wife are expecting their first child due on Saturday. Sam Slocum, Neil Bishop and Dave Sayers are close to a return as the Irons sit just 1 point outside the relegation zone after an injury-stricken season. But the gaffer believes fans can make the difference that could save them from relegation.
What we're looking for is that 100% support that I know they've given us, and just to maintain that. Sometimes there can be a few dissenting voices which can spread to the pitch, which can give them a little bit of unnecessary anxiety. We know where we are, we know what we've got to do. Let's try and make it as easy and give ourselves the best opportunity of staying in the division rather than being counterproductive.
And here's a look at the fixtures you can enjoy over the Easter weekend. Hull City play Swansea City at 3 p.m. on Saturday in the Premier League as the Tigers try and put a bit more distance between them and the relegation zone. In League One, Scunthorpe play Peterborough tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Iron are also fighting relegation with just 1 point between them and the drop zone. In the Vanarama Conference, Grimsby Town are chasing automatic promotion as they play Gateshead at 3 p.m. on Saturday. They're just 1 point behind league leaders Barnet. And in the Conference North, North Ferriby take on Chorley fresh off the back of their FA Trophy win at Wembley last weekend. That's at 3 p.m. on Saturday. And finally, in ice hockey, Hull Stingrays take on the league leaders, the Sheffield Steelers, in the playoff semi-finals. Goaltender David Brown said the team is full of confidence and momentum after beating the Brayhead clan second in the league in the playoffs last weekend. Brown made 90 saves and hopes his form will give the team a confidence boost. That's all from the sport.
We just have time to take a look at another Dog of the Week, presently resident at Sungreet Kennels, but looking for a new home, perhaps as a member of your family, might save your life with a Heimlich manoeuvre.
Dog number one, with it being the 1st of April, we've started a new year, is a lurcher, Saluki type, black and white, lovely natured dog, very nervous at the minute because it's only just been brought in, but in the end it'll turn out to be a nice loving dog.
That's all we have time for. Details on the screen if you want to get in touch. Grimsby 3155553, Twitter, Facebook. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Rain and hill snow will become lighter and more patchy on Friday, with some parts dry by the afternoon, but it will stay cloudy with some fog on the hills and a maximum temperature of 9 degrees Celsius. Although the odd light shower can be ruled out, most parts should be dry with some bright or sunny intervals on Saturday.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.